Hey guys, this is Johanna from my bookshelf. I read 11 books. I'm on my 12th book, so I'm just gonna start with the first one. I read That One Night by Sarah Billington. This is a novelette. It's a new adult, and this book was pretty good. Next book was Spillover by Jolene. This is another contemporary. And you guys, if you have been following my videos, YouTube videos, or my blog, you would know that I'm a huge fan of Jolene, and this book blew my mind too. She just knows how to write emotional, raw, and like honest books, and this was one of them. I was so emotionally attached to the characters, like 100% attached, and I just loved it so much. Next book was Don't Turn Around by Michelle Gagnon. This book talks about two people, a guy and a girl. They're both hackers, and it's told from both of their points of views. But I expected a bit more. I expected more like hacking terms, hacking lingo, hacking stuff. But all you get is like the word hacking thrown in here and there. Because I'm pretty fascinated with, you know, the whole hacking thing. But you don't get that. You don't. You just get a lot of chases, a lot of running away, a lot of chases, and a lot of hiding. I gave this 3.5 stars. I expected more, honestly, but I can't wait for the second book. And I gave Spillover 4.5 stars, and That One Night I gave it 4. Next book was Obsidian by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I know, finally. If you guys haven't read it, you need to read it. This book was amazing. It's about aliens, but don't get put off by that, because I was, but I'm an idiot. I should have read it like as soon as it came out. And I get the whole crazy fangirl with Damon. I love Damon. I loved his relationship with Kitty, even though it was a bit dysfunctional with the whole push and pull thing. And I love the story. Jennifer knows how to write a story. She knows how to make the characters three-dimensional. She knows how to hook us, because she hooked me to the point that I picked up the second book instantly, and it is Onyx by her, Jennifer L. Armentrout. This book wasn't as good as Obsidian, but you get more action, you get more background, more history about the aliens. You get more things are at stake, and the ending was such a cliffhanger, and I can't wait for the third book. Then I read The Summer I Learned to Dive by Shannon McCrimmon. This book is a contemporary, and it talks about this cliched goody two-shoe girl. She's a valedictorian, straight A's. She already has her eyes on this prestigious school, but then one day she finds out a secret that her mom has been keeping from her, and she has to take some time off from her mom. And she goes to her grandparents, she starts working there, she meets this guy, she falls instantly in love with him in the span of like 2 weeks, which I found to be a bit annoying, because I'm a big anti-fan of insta-love, by the way. And I felt the plot was a bit cliched, like how it progressed, and the ending was a bit too simple, too comfortable. Like it's like the obvious way the book was heading. So I wanted a bit more unpredictableness, I guess. And I gave it 3 stars. Next book that I read is Hanging by a Thread by Sophie Littlefield. This book is a murder mystery with a twist of paranormal. There was these 2 murders in the span of 2 years at the hometown that she just moved in. Her mom used to live in this hometown, and her grandma lives there. And the thing is, the girl, the main protagonist, gets sucked in because she has a gift. And the gift is that any article of clothing she touches on any person, she would know the dark or bad thing that person did while wearing this piece of clothes. So it's amazing. The pacing was good. The mystery was just dead on. You cannot, like, I did not even imagine who the killer is. I had an idea of who it would be, but turned out it wasn't that person at all. Not even close. And I was pleasantly shocked. I love being shocked when it comes to murder mysteries, because they're usually a hit and miss depending on how obvious or how easy it is to tell who the murderer is. And the last book, E-Galley, that I read is Band Romance by Sarah Billington. This is another short story, but it's more middle grade-ish, because it talks about this girl in high school, I guess, and she finds out that she's not the only girlfriend of her boyfriend. And it's cute. I gave it 3 stars. Oof. Okay, now moving on to my physical books. The first one that I read is the Encyclopedia of Me by Karen Rivers, and this book is told in an encyclopedia format, so you get the whole formatting kind of thing, which you don't see here, but yeah. And I was a bit hesitant. I wasn't sure if the plot or the story would flow and it wouldn't be choppy because of the format. But on the contrary, I just watched Awkwards and one of them said that and stuck in my head. The voice of the main protagonist is just, she's funny, she's hilarious. She's only 13 years old, but she cracked me up so many times in this book. And you actually get to learn things that you didn't know, honestly. If you enjoy middle grade books, I think this book would definitely be for you. And Meg Cabot blurbed it. We all love Meg Cabot. And I gave it 3.5 just because I'm just not a middle grader, you know? And I think middle graders would love it. Next book was The Forsaken by Lisa M. Stasse. This book is a dystopian novel. I love this book. I love the dystopian elements in this book. I love how the group of people went through a journey, and you know they had a lot of obstacles. The author was not afraid to kill off some characters and stuff, and there's a lot of conspiracies in this book. But there is this insta-love romance that I did not enjoy, and it was at the beginning, but then you could sort of like put it on the back of your mind because there's more important things to focus on, which I loved. And I can't wait for the second book. Then we've got At the Iron King by Julie Kagawa, and I was kind of disappointed in this book. I had high expectations because everyone just loves this book, but I felt that the characters were a bit too simple. The love triangle was a bit too obvious and boring, and I didn't like the two guys. I didn't like Puck. Don't like him at all. His whole joking around stuff just kind of puts me off. And Ash was just one-dimensional. I was not emotionally attached with any of the characters. And Megan, the main protagonist, was just, I didn't like her. I gave it three stars, and I want to read the second one because I have The Lost Prince for review. And the second one is actually, sorry, it's here. I don't know if you see it. Right over here. So I do have it. So I'll try to read it, honestly. Not making any promises, but I'll try. Then I read Envy by Elizabeth Miles. This is the second book in the Fury series. And for all the readers who did not enjoy Fury as much, you need to pick this one up because this one is so much better than Fury. I loved every single page of this one. I read it in the span of 2 days and it's like 400 pages. It is pretty big. And I loved it. I gave it 4 stars. Last physical book I read is The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater. And for all you fans who are equally waiting for this book, you're not going to be disappointed. This book was amazing. It's about 4 guys and a girl, and they kind of like team up for something. And there's barely any romance, even though the synopsis says there is, but there isn't. And I was fine with that. Because the friendship between the 4 guys was just so amazing. I just loved the friendship, and this book's amazing. I gave it 5 stars. And the last book that I'm reading right now, which is a pretty big book, it's like 600 pages. And it is it's The Diviners by Libba Bray. I haven't read any book by Libba Bray, and this book is set in like the early 1900s. There's a bit of paranormal in this. And it's okay so far. I'm only on page 130 because I haven't had time to read anything. And if you guys are wondering why my bookshelf is empty, it's because we're packing, because we're moving away. So it's empty. And I've got no books. No books whatsoever. The only books I have are these. These are the only books I have. So, yeah. I'm kind of sad, but yeah. Okay. So these are all the books. I only read 11 books, unfortunately. Work has been killing me, so I haven't had enough time to do anything. But yeah, that's it. Link me below to your wrap-ups, and I'm sorry for the long video. Bye, guys.